pivotal event unfolded on the shores of what is now the United States, marking the start of a dark chapter in American history. A Portuguese ship, having captured Africans from present-day Angola, crossed the Atlantic, docking in Virginia. This voyage was not one of exploration or trade, but rather the forced transport of human lives, marking a significant moment in the establishment of racialized slavery in America. As the ship's anchor sank into the Chesapeake Bay, it carried the weight of a future steeped in suffering and resilience. The men and women who disembarked were among the first enslaved Africans in the English colonies, setting the stage for centuries of systemic oppression. This event, seemingly small in the grand tapestry of history, ignited a chain reaction that would weave itself into the fabric of American society. Here in Virginia, the seeds of a racialized system of slavery were sown, growing into an institution of unimaginable brutality. The year 1619 stands as a stark reminder of this institution's beginning, where human beings were stripped of freedom, dignity, and identity. This was not merely the arrival of laborers, but the forced transplantation of cultures and histories, uprooted and planted in foreign soil. The introduction of these enslaved Africans marked the onset of a systemic form of slavery that would evolve over decades. It was a system of physical bondage and mental subjugation, entrenching racial hierarchies that would persist for generations. Reflecting on the arrival of these first enslaved Africans, we confront harsh realities. Torn from their homeland, subjected to the horrors of the Middle Passage, and thrust into a world that saw them as less than human, their plight was one of unimaginable hardship. Yet, even in adversity, these individuals bore witness to resilience and survival. Their arrival in 1619 was not just the beginning of a tragic narrative, but also the dawn of a profound legacy. It speaks to the strength and perseverance of those who endured the unimaginable, a testament to the human spirit's quest for freedom and dignity. Understanding this moment in history is crucial, not only to acknowledge the suffering and injustices that occurred, but also to recognize its foundational impact on the United States' development. The institution of slavery shaped the nation's economic, social, and political landscape, its echoes reverberating to the present day. As we delve deeper into this narrative, we must remember that the story of the enslaved Africans who arrived in 1619 is not merely one of oppression, but also of resistance and resilience. It demands to be told, understood, and remembered, for it is in these stories that we find the roots of our present, the lessons of our past, and the hope for a more just and equitable future. In recounting the arrival of enslaved Africans in 1619, we embark on a journey through time, challenging us to confront uncomfortable truths and honor the voices long silenced. It is a journey that begins with the arrival of a single ship, but extends far beyond, shaping a nation and countless lives. Let us begin this exploration with open minds and compassionate hearts, ready to learn, reflect, and grow from the past's lessons. For only by understanding where we have come from can we truly shape where we are going. The transatlantic slave trade stands as one of history's most egregious examples of human commodification. This trade was not merely a byproduct of economic necessity, but a deliberate endeavor that transformed human lives into commodities for profit. From the 16th to the 19th century, millions of Africans were forcibly removed from their homelands, shackled, and subjected to the horrors of the Middle Passage. This journey across the ocean was marked by unspeakable suffering, as individuals were crammed into ships' holds. Upon arrival, these individuals were stripped of their identities, reduced to mere numbers and ledgers, and sold to the highest bidder. The dehumanization was complete. They were no longer seen as men and women with rich cultures and histories. This commodification extended to their offspring, born into bondage, perpetuating a cycle of exploitation for generations. The economic motives behind the slave trade were vast and complex. European powers and American colonists saw immense profitability in cultivating cash crops. These industries thrived on enslaved labor, creating immense wealth for those who participated in the trade while laying the foundations for the economic structures dominating the New World. In this brutal calculus, the humanity of the enslaved was disregarded. The trade was a cornerstone of the burgeoning global economy, linking continents in a web of commerce that enriched empires and fueled colonial expansion. Yet, it was the enslaved Africans who paid the ultimate price. As we examine this dark chapter in history, it is crucial to recognize the resilience and strength of those who endured it. Despite relentless oppression, many enslaved individuals resisted their dehumanization, holding on to their cultural identities. The legacy of the transatlantic slave trade is profound and enduring. It laid the groundwork for the racial hierarchies and systemic inequalities persisting today. By understanding the commercialization of slavery, we gain insight into the deep-seated issues continuing to shape our societies. In remembering the past, we honor the lives of those lost and those who survived, ensuring their stories are never forgotten. As we continue to educate ourselves and future generations, we hold the power to transform this painful history into a catalyst for change, fostering a deeper understanding of our shared humanity and the need for justice and equality for all. In American history, the narrative of resistance and rebellion among enslaved Africans stands as a profound testament to the enduring human spirit. Despite the oppressive chains that bound them, enslaved individuals never ceased to strive for freedom. This segment delves into the heart of resistance, illuminating the relentless fight for liberty that defined many enslaved Africans' lives. From their forced arrival, enslaved Africans employed various resistance strategies. These acts of defiance, whether through organized rebellions or subtle day-to-day resistance, were powerful assertions of their humanity. They refused to be mere commodities, choosing to fight against the dehumanizing system that sought to break their spirit. One notable form of resistance was organized rebellion. Among the most famous of these uprisings was the Stono Rebellion of 1739 in South Carolina. It was a bold attempt by enslaved Africans to seize their freedom. Beyond organized rebellions, resistance took many forms. Enslaved individuals engaged in acts of sabotage, slowed down their work, and maintained cultural practices that affirmed their identity and humanity. The stories of individual defiance are equally compelling. Figures like Harriet Tubman, who escaped slavery and returned multiple times to lead others to freedom via the Underground Railroad, exemplify the extraordinary bravery and determination of those who resisted. Even in the face of severe punishment and the threat of death, enslaved Africans continued to resist. Their actions were not only a fight for their own freedom but also a broader struggle for justice and equality. Resistance among enslaved Africans was not just a series of isolated events, it was a continuous struggle spanning generations. It underscored the fundamental truth that freedom is a birthright, one that cannot be denied by laws or chains. As we reflect on these stories of resistance, we are reminded of the indomitable human spirit and the enduring quest for freedom. These narratives serve as a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made by those who came before us. This segment on resistance and rebellion is not just a historical recounting, it is a tribute to the courage and resilience of those who fought against the shackles of oppression. As we continue exploring the early days of slavery, let us carry forward the lessons of resistance and rebellion, recognizing their profound significance in the broader narrative of American history. In the intricate tapestry of American history, the legal framework of slavery stands as a testament to the lengths taken to institutionalize human subjugation. As whispers of freedom began to echo in the colonies, a contrasting narrative was woven through laws designed to uphold slavery as a permanent societal fixture. The early American legal system, rather than serving as a bastion of justice, was manipulated to entrench slavery deeply into societal fabric. Laws were not merely written in ink but etched into countless lives, ensuring bondage was legal, binding, and enduring. Colonial legislatures and later state governments enacted statutes defining enslaved individuals' status with chilling precision. The Virginia Slave Codes of 1705, for instance, legally codified slave status, stripping them of humanity and categorizing them as property. These laws were comprehensive, covering every aspect of an enslaved person's life. They dictated where they could live, whom they could marry, and even what they could learn. Education, a powerful tool for liberation, was systematically denied to enslaved individuals. The fear was palpable among slaveholders that knowledge could ignite rebellion. Thus, literacy was restricted and ignorance enforced by law. Moreover, the legal framework extended beyond immediate lives, impacting generations. The principle of partus sequitur ventrem ensured children of enslaved women inherited their mother's status, perpetuating slavery across generations. This legal doctrine secured a continuous labor force and entrenched the racial hierarchy by ensuring African descent was synonymous with enslavement. The racialization of slavery was further cemented through laws prohibiting interracial marriage and dictating severe penalties for transgressors. These laws maintained racial purity and prevented any blurring of lines challenging the established order. As slavery became ingrained in economic and social structures, the legal system responded by becoming increasingly rigid. The Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, for example, mandated escaped slaves, even in free states, be returned to owners. The legal structures upholding slavery were not merely about maintaining economic interests, they asserted control and dominance over a people, ensuring the status quo remained unchallenged and resistance voices silenced. Yet, even within this oppressive legal framework, the spirit of resistance persisted. Enslaved individuals found ways to defy laws seeking to bind them. Through covert acts of defiance, they challenged the legal structures, dehumanizing them. Reflecting on slavery's legal framework reveals these laws were not just historical artifacts, but active agents shaping U.S. racial dynamics. They laid groundwork for systemic inequalities persisting long after slavery's abolition. Understanding these legal foundations is crucial for comprehending slavery's full impact on American society. It reminds us that laws, while powerful tools for justice, can also perpetuate injustice. As we delve deeper into this dark chapter, we must confront legacies left by these legal structures and strive to dismantle inequalities they fostered. As we delve into the economic ramifications of slavery, it's crucial to understand that early America's prosperity was intricately woven with enslaved labor's threads. The agricultural landscape of the burgeoning nation relied heavily on the forced toil of African slaves. This exploitation wasn't merely a byproduct of the times, it was a deliberate effort to build an economy thriving on the backs of those stripped of freedom. In the southern states, vast plantations of cotton, tobacco, and sugar thrived. These individuals were not just workers, they were the foundation upon which America's agricultural prowess was built. The wealth generated from these plantations flowed into plantation owners' pockets, merchants, and even the burgeoning industrial sectors in the North. The transatlantic slave trade had already set the stage for this economic framework by transforming human lives into commodities. Ships laden with human cargo crossed the ocean, their holds filled with men, women, and children destined to fuel the New World's economic engine. The systemic exploitation of enslaved labor was not merely an economic strategy, it was an institution embedded within the very laws governing society. Legal frameworks were meticulously crafted to ensure slavery's continuation, thus securing its economic benefits. The economic contributions of enslaved Africans extended beyond plantations. Their skills and labor were integral to infrastructure development, including roads, ports, and buildings. They were artisans, blacksmiths, and carpenters, whose craftsmanship helped build early America's physical and economic landscape. The wealth generated through slavery was not just a Southern phenomenon. Northern industries, too, reaped the benefits. The textile mills of New England, for instance, relied heavily on cotton produced by enslaved labor. Financial institutions and insurance companies in the North provided the capital and security needed to maintain and expand the slave economy. In essence, the entire nation was complicit in this economic system, built on African people's dehumanization and exploitation. Reflecting on this dark chapter reveals slavery's profound and far-reaching economic impact. It laid the groundwork for the United States to emerge as a global economic power. However, this prosperity came at an unimaginable human cost. Understanding slavery's economic impact is not just about acknowledging the past, it's about recognizing this history's enduring effects on present-day America. It challenges us to confront uncomfortable truths about our economic foundations and seek justice for those whose labor was stolen. As we move forward, let us not forget the sacrifices of those who were enslaved, and strive to build an economy valuing justice, equality, and human dignity above all else. As we conclude our exploration into the early days of slavery in America, we are reminded that this dark chapter's legacy continues to cast its shadow over modern society. The echoes of the past reverberate in the present, shaping the socio-political landscape and influencing countless individuals' lives. The systemic inequalities and racial injustices born out of slavery persist, challenging us to confront uncomfortable truths about our history. Understanding slavery's impact is not just an academic exercise, it is a crucial step toward addressing today's social injustices. By examining slavery's origins and evolution, we gain insight into the structures perpetuating inequality. This understanding empowers us to dismantle these structures and work towards a more equitable future. The stories of resistance, courage, and resilience among enslaved individuals offer powerful lessons. They remind us of the indomitable human spirit and the relentless pursuit of freedom and justice. These narratives are not just historical footnotes but integral to the American story, highlighting the contributions and sacrifices of those who fought against oppression. Reflecting on this history compels us to recognize the ongoing struggle for civil rights and social justice. It challenges us to engage actively in the fight against systemic racism and advocate for policies promoting equality and inclusivity. The journey toward justice is long and arduous, but by learning from the past, we can forge a path forward that honors the dignity and humanity of all people. As we close this chapter, let us carry forward history's lessons with a renewed commitment to justice and equality. Let us be guided by the knowledge that change is possible and that each of us has a role in shaping a future where freedom and opportunity are every individual's birthright. The legacy of slavery is a call to action, a reminder that building a just society is ongoing. By remembering the past, we honor those who came before us and pave the way for future generations. Together, through education and understanding, we can transform slavery's legacy into a catalyst for positive change, ensuring history's injustices are never repeated. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Let us continue to reflect, learn, and strive for a world where justice and equality are realized for all.